What's up, guys, and welcome back to Rising Thrills, your #1 source for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland roller coaster content. In this video, on day 7 of daily roller coaster reviews, I will be reviewing ELTORO at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey. In 2006, Six Flags Great Adventure opened ELTORO, which is an Intamin prefabricated roller coaster. The reason it's called a prefabricated roller coaster is because compared to other wooden coasters where all of the wood is brought onto the construction site and each wood is cut to length and fitted, all of the wood is, instead for this roller coaster, all of the wood is prefabricated in a factory to be the exact right dimensions. ELTORO stands at 181 feet, has a length of 4,400 feet, a drop of 106 feet, and a top speed of 70 miles per hour. ELTORO starts off with you being pulled up a 181-foot tall cable lift hill. So instead of most coasters, especially most wooden coasters, they have a chain lift. This has a cable lift. Think of Sky Rush, that has a cable lift. So you get pulled up a 181-foot tall cable lift. Then you go a turnaround, and then you go down the drop, which is 176 feet. So this ride, it's basically a hyper. If it was just 20 feet taller, it would be a hyper. This really is a massive ride, especially compared to other wooden coasters. I'm not sure if this is the tallest wooden coaster in the world. I'm not sure. But yeah. The drop is at 76 degrees. After you go down the drop, then you go through a 112-foot airtime hill. Then you go through a 100-foot airtime hill. And then after that airtime hill, you go through a turnaround. This is a very interesting turnaround because you basically go up. It's like an airtime hill. But at the same point, you're going after the airtime hill, you're going down, banking to the right, trying to turn around. So this is definitely an interesting turnaround. This is one of the best moments of the ride. After you go through the turnaround, then you go through a airtime hill that is banked a little bit. And then you go through another airtime hill, and then you go through a bunch of different airtime hills that are banked, and you go through a bunch of helixes, and, basically a lot of the same stuff, just, a bunch of banked hills and, smaller hills and helixes and stuff like that. They do provide a good amount of airtime just because of how low they are to the ground. If they were any higher, just because of how late in the ride they are, they wouldn't provide that much airtime. This ride, obviously, it has a lot of airtime hills. It is focused on airtime hills. It's an airtime-centric roller coaster. Obviously, it's a Intamin coaster, so most Intamin coasters are, focused on airtime. Not necessarily like inversions or anything, or even twists or like helixes. This does have a few helixes, but not a ton. But this is overall a fun ride. Please bear in mind, I have only ridden this ride once. I definitely want to get back on this ride. So for my final score for ELTORO, which, if you didn't know, is the bowl in English. It's a Spanish word, of course, ELTORO, or bowl in English, the bowl, rather. So for my final score for ELTORO, I will be giving it an 8 out of 10. That might surprise some people. Obviously, I've only been on it once. I just feel like it didn't provide that much ejector airtime. It definitely had a lot of floater airtime and flowjector airtime, but not a ton of, ejector airtime. Obviously, a ride could be good. I still think it's a good ride. Obviously, I've just been on it once. But it's not as good as some people say it is. I definitely think it is a little overrated. Honestly, I think it would be better if I have a rougher ride, which it might surprise some people, but, obviously it depends on what type of roughness it is. But sometimes a rougher ride is better than a smoother ride. But yeah, obviously I've only been on this once. Obviously, please keep an eye out for in the future whenever I post vlogs at Great Adventure. You know, and if I do go on ELTORO, I'll be sure to give you my second ride opinions, because I'm sure it will change. Just like Phoenix at Knoebels. Recently went to Knoebels for my second time. I went on Phoenix for the second time, and I was like, yeah, this ride is a lot better. Because the first time I went on it, I was almost like pushing for the airtime. Like I was like looking forward to it, so I was like going up by myself, so it didn't really like, you know, give the airtime. The ride didn't, and I was more like giving it to myself just because of how much space you have. So the second ride, I was just letting the ride do its thing basically, and it was a lot better than the first ride. So I think the second ride will be a lot better, but for now, I'm just giving it an 8 out of 10. I'll probably update either in the description or in the comments once I have gotten on ELTORO for a second time, because I'm sure my opinions will change. Obviously, right now, I'm giving it a score of 8 out of 10. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Goodbye.